Gracious God, creator of the universe, and yet the lover of my soul. Alpha and Omega, and yet I can call you friend. I don't have to beg you for anything, but I can thank you for everything. God, I thank you because this is the day that you have made, and I can rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this day of magnificence and glory and splendor. God, I thank you for life, health, and for strength. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for peace, love, and joy. I thank you for the essence of you that envelops me right now, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. We thank you for this day of manifestation. We thank you for the day of revelation. We thank you for the day of impartation. We thank you as you move in the midst of your people to bring us to the greatest times that we've ever seen since the foundation of the world. Thank you, Lord, that for this time and for this season, you've allowed us to be a part of your move in the face of the earth. I thank you, God, for the revolution that you're bringing forth, God, even in the midst of the earth right now. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing in this hour, because in the last days, saith God, you said you would pour out your spirit on all flesh. And so now we thank you for the pouring out. God, I thank you for the rain and the move of your spirit. I thank you for fresh oil. I thank you for new wine. I thank you for the new thing that you're doing. I thank you now that it does spring forth. I thank you, Lord, that you've called us to be the head and not the tail. You've called us to be above only and not beneath. You've called us to be the lender and not the borrower. You've called, God, that our storehouses would be full and increase. God, I thank you because even I decree and declare that the people under the sound of my voice, even now, are moving in the might of your strength. Not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. I thank you for those that are the sons and daughters of God that are called because they walk not after the flesh, but after your spirit. I thank you for the rising up of the people of your kingdom. I thank you that your kingdom come. I thank you that your will be done, even now in earth as it is in heaven. I thank you, Lord, because you are moving in the midst of your people mightily as never before. Raise us up, oh God, to the standard of what you've called us to be. God, I thank you for the standard of greatness. I thank you for the standard of holiness. I thank you for the standard of moving as the sons and daughters of yours, and not as vagabonds, not as those that never knew you, not as those that are confused and confounded, but God, those that know who they are in you. I thank you for the knowing. I thank you, God, for knowing you. I thank you for knowing your presence. Thank you for knowing your Holy Ghost power that gives us the ability to be successful. Your anointing that gives us the power to rise up and be called blessed. Thank you for that is in us. Thank you, God, for all things that pertain to life and godliness. Thank you because we are not confused. We are not deceived. And we thank you for that clarity of mind and the clarity of vision that allows us to walk forth as kings and queens, as princes and princesses in the kingdom that walk in the earth. We thank you that we are your beloved, and we rise up as the apple of your eye. We rise up, oh God, as those that you love with all of your heart. And God, we love you back. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for soundness of spirit. I thank you that healing is our bread. Healing is our deliverance. By the stripes of Jesus, we're already healed. And we speak forth that healing even now for those that need it. Thank you, God, for every stripe that was taken. Thank you for the bruising. Thank you that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. God, with those same stripes we declare and we speak healing in Jesus' name. We give you glory, we give you peace, we give you honor, we give you blessing, we give you might. We ascribe all of these things unto you because they are yours. Thank you, the fruit of my lips giving thanks unto your name, ever giving you all that is yours. Glory, honor, power, dominion, majesty. It's yours. I decree it and I speak it In the mighty name of Jesus, it is so. Amen and amen.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to today's edition of Yes, You O Cube. What does O Cube stand for? One-on-one. It's just me and you. I am your spiritual thought leader, Regina L. Stillman, and I'm so glad that you joined me on this fine day. Children, it's hump day. Oh my goodness. Listen, the week is halfway over for those of you that are hitting it. It is August the 23rd in the year 2023. And it's another day's journey, and I'm glad about it. I hope you are too, because we're here in the Lion's Den for another exciting and eventful day. Listen, Lord Jesus, after yesterday, I don't know if we can get more exciting than that. But here we are on this morning, and I'm so glad that each of you are here with me. Now, you know how we get it started. We like to start with the Lion's Den VIP section. Yes, we want to see who's bringing all the love, joy, peace, soul, and happiness into the Lion's Den to make sure there is plenty of that here for us on this morning when we got here. So let's go, cheering, let's go. So as we look at this, the third person in the Lion's Den this morning, KK79. Let me get her picture, y'all. Because I want you to see all of this beauty right here, because this is my girl. This beautiful soul right here. Good morning, KK, and thank you. Go ahead and sit down right over there on that love seat. Now, the second person in the Lion's Den this morning was none other than Cassandra Isaiah, otherwise known as Sassy Cassie. Oh, Bronx Harlem girl, thank you. You're so sweet. Yes, 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 that's my sister, Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the main. Now, the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair is none other than Shelly Thunder. Shelly Thunder, you are the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair. Get your lips, get your hips, and get your fingertips in that chair, Shelly. Come on. Shelly Thunder, Shelly Thunder. She's the queen of the chair. Come on, sis, and nothing but mad love to you. I love you, I love you. Give it up one more and again. Thunder! I'm trying to tell you, y'all. Thunder! I see you, Bronx Harlem girl. I'm going to give you some thunder. There it is. That's my girl right there. I appreciate you, Shelly, honey. She's in here, at dark 30. At the crack of the new day, and we appreciate her. Yes, she's gonna get all of her lips, all of her hips, and all of her fingertips into that chair. Now, I love it, I love it, I love it, because right here, I need to and appreciate giving the opportunity to give so much love to my moderators. This is the time I like to just focus on them, because they listened yesterday, and they had their work cut out for them, because they were putting folks out. Come on in here. Shelly Thunder. I see that mod love, SK8843. I see that mod love. I see that mod love, Stacy546. Come on in here. So much mad love to you. I appreciate, there she is, the prophetess. I call her the prophetess because, baby, she'll give you a word in season. She'll pray the prayer of faith, but she'll block your tail. Please believe it. She will do it. She'll block your tail and put you right on up out of here. Try Jesus Jesus, but don't try us. That's her motto right there. I see you, Bronx. Let me give it to you. And I appreciate her as she's led by the leader of the pack, none other than the Rebel Inc. Yes, that's my day one. That's my Ace Boon Coon. And yes, we're going over there to see her in just a few minutes because she is a streamer, you all. And if you're not following the Rebel Inc., quit chewing your ways. Just quit them, because I promise you she's going to bless your whole entire life. Then we have the Quiet Storm. Yes, my Quiet Storm is also my angel. Yes, my angel is Michelle Brownell. And yes, I love me some her. That's my girl right there. She changes the atmosphere just by being in it. And please remember, we have not forgotten Michelle. I see you, my lock journey. We got the wedding rings up. Yes, there's gonna be a wedding. There's gonna be a wedding between Michelle Brownell and John Studios. And my lock journey, we're having that wedding whether they want it or not. It will be held in Rebel Stream, and Rebel is going to go forth in her ministry. I'm going to officiate, and we going to hook these two together whether they want to or not. That's the way we do it over here, children. That's the way we do it over here. Those are my beautiful moderators, and thank you for that mod love, because they deserve all of it. Shelly Thunder, I see that mod love. Come on in here. My lock journey, BTD Mom, I see that mod love. I see it. I see it. I see it. Stacy 546. All of that mod love is for you all. Yes, SK, you got to crash the ceremony. We gave him the hookup a few weeks ago, and we took off running, making plans ever since, SK. We've been making plans ever since. So at the end of the day, honey, because we peeped something out, SK. We were over there in Rebels one day. Bronx, all them girls said, I am the side chick. Ooh, listen. I'm scared when the side chicks just come out online, out here in the broad open daylight, and start revealing themselves. But Carmela did it in England, so I guess you can do it too. Oop! Anyhow, let's keep it going. Stirs the soul. Listen, those mods don't... Listen, they are absolutely beautiful. Stirs the soul. You're so sweet. You are this brother right here. This is my word master, my wordsmith. And I loved the cascades of love. Not just love stirs the soul. That's not the way he put it out there. Stirs the soul had cascades of... I said, I don't think I've seen cascades in here yet, Joanna G. Cascades. Oop. It's a side piece convention. Y'all coming out the woodwork and just saying, hey, I'm the side chick. I'm the side chick. There was a day y'all had to hide, but ever since, honey, the Queen of England got her opportunity, I guess, honey, the side chicks and the side pieces said, it's my time to shine. And y'all just been coming out the woodwork ever since. Listen, my mother said when you come in the room, say good morning, speak to somebody. Stacy 546, I appreciate you. Good morning to you, sis. Nothing but mad love. The Rebel Inc. is up in here, children. Good morning to you. Y'all got me crying already. The Rebel Inc. She is a streamer. If you're not following the Rebel Inc., quit chewing Wise, just quit them. She's going to bless your whole entire life. And we're going over there in just a few minutes. Sheila Stillman, that's my big, beautiful sister. Not to be confused with my biggest, big, beautiful sister, but that's my beautiful sister right there. SK8843, nothing but mad love to you. Coming on down, and I see Bronx Harlem Girl said she made it this morning. She made it. Happy Wednesday to you as well, Bronx Harlem Girl. Mad love, mad love. Now, I believe that Bronx Harlem Girl is also a streamer. If you're not following Bronx Harlem Girl, quit your ways. Quit them. She's going to bless your whole life. Coming on down, and I see. Coming, and I see who's in here. Come on down. Let me move her down. Let me scroll. Fairly all day. My dearest friend. She's out there driving, y'all. She's out there driving. And I want her to be safe in those streets, but we've been missing you. It's good to see you in here this morning, and I appreciate you taking the time to drop by before you hit the bricks and go on in that job. Mad love to you. Coming on down, and I'm looking and booking and seeing who else is in the room. I'm making a list, and I'm checking it twice. I know who's not and who's nice, and DJ Varmar, that's my brother. He's in the room. Nothing but mad love to you. Come through. I appreciate you. DJ Varmar is a streamer. Now, if you're not following DJ Varmar, quit your ways. Just quit him. Because listen, he's going to bless your whole entire life. Coming on down, and I see my biggest, big, beautiful sister, Anita Harvey, otherwise known as BTD Mom. Good morning to you two, my biggest, big, beautiful sister. Come on in here, and nothing but mad love to you. I had the pleasure of spending the evening with them on yesterday and doing some good singing. Listen, if you're in the Dallas area, there's a concert that's going to be held on the first Sunday of September. And baby, I'm here to tell you, this choir is a singing choir. Y'all don't want to miss it. I'll have to give you more details on that later. It's down there somewhere in Southern Dallas. I didn't know where I was. Ain't never been down there before. But listen, they did their good singing on yesterday. And I want y'all, if you're available and you want some good singing, I ain't talking about getting up and just cracking and crowing. These babies are singing. You want to meet us on the first Sunday of September. I can't remember the name of the church, but that's all right. I'll get it to you for anybody in the Dallas area. But BTD Mom is always giving me the hookup, and I appreciate her. Coming on down, and I'm looking and I'm booking, and who else do I see in the room but Joanna G? That's my blessed, big, beautiful sister. I love me some you. It is so marvelous to have you in the room this morning. Come on in here, sis. I love me some you. My Lock Journey. Listen, this is the Lock Whisperer. She is a streamer. Oh, I tell you what, you're so precious. Listen, and if you're not following My Lock Journey, quit your ways. Just quit them. Because listen, I tell you what, she's going to bless your whole life. And I think I came out and said, Bronx Harlem Girl, are you a streamer? I always get you and in my mind. You and my girl, who am I? My Lock Journey. I get the two of y'all as far as streaming confused. But nonetheless, I know My Lock Journey streams. Bronx Harlem Girl, let me know if you stream or not, because I definitely want to put that in the atmosphere. Coming on down, and I'm looking and I'm booking, and who else but stirs the soul? He will stir your soul. This brother right here, good morning to you, and nothing but mad love to you. This brother is a streamer, and if you're not following Stirs the Soul, baby, you better quit your wicked ways. Just quit him, because I'm here to tell you he's going to bless you. He is the wordsmith. Please believe it, with cascades of love to you this morning. That's the way we're coming at you. Coming on down, and I'm seeing, I'm looking and I'm booking, and I'm seeing who else is here cheering. Who else is here? K2 Hoop, good morning to you. So much mad love to you. Come on in here, sis. I love you. Good to see you this morning. Anna Joe Jones, good morning to you. Come on, Facebook. Y'all better come on in here and tell your story and chat with us here in the Lion's Den. Truck driver, that's my Mufasa. Truck driver is in the room. Listen, y'all. As soon as that stream was over and we had raided over, my phone was ringing yesterday. Truck, you know you are my guy. Tell 10, 2 palms down and 10 feet up. We in this together. Come on, my brother, and I love me some you. Now, coming on down, and I'm looking and booking to see who else is in here. Lord Jesus, Crazy Berrytown. You're walking into class. Thank you so much for tabbing us up, and thank you so much for being in the room. Blessings to you as you go into that college classroom and teach the babies and give them all the wisdom that you can. Listen, Crazy Berrytown is a streamer, y'all. If you're not following Crazy Berrytown, quit your wiggle ways. Just quit them. Because I'm telling you, she's going to bless your whole life. She'll Zumba you to Zion. She'll give you a chit chat and a sip. And she is our fearless leader of the energy, the journey of good grief. Come on in here, and I love me some you. Now, coming on down, and I'm looking and I'm booking, and Shelly Thunder. She's in the room, y'all. She's in the room. I love you. I love you. I love you. This is my moderator extraordinaire, honey. She's going to bless you real good. So glad to see you this morning. Come on in the room. Downtown Melvin Brown. Come on in here, my brother. This is my shouting partner right here. And I love me some him. It's so good to see you. He's always holding down the fort in the LinkedIn community. I appreciate you for taking good care of us over there, Melvin, and so much mad love to you. That's my guy right there, and he's a whole vibe and a whole blessing. Now listen, that's the way we do it on this morning. I appreciate, and to all of you that are in Facebook, I want to say good morning to you. Blessings and love be multiplied. As Stirs the Soul said, cascades of blessings and cascades of love. Stirs the soul. I think I'm gonna wear cascades out. I'm gonna wear it out. At the end of the day, y'all, I want to say good morning to everybody that's in here. If I missed anybody, I appreciate you for coming in. Now, let's get this party started. Let's get this party crack-a-lacking, because you know how we do it in the Lion's Den. Get your coffee cup out. Get your coffee cup out. Get your coffee cup out. Hey! Come on now. Take a little sip. Get a little drip. It's fresh brewed coffee, my like journey. BTD, mom, I see your coffee cup. My like journey, I see your coffee cup. Bronx, Harlem, girl, I see that coffee cup. Y'all better, hey! My like journey comes in locked and loaded and ready to go. I'm not mad at you, sis. I'm not mad at you. Listen, we gonna get some of that fresh brew, because what had happened was, I see your coffee cup, the Rebel Ink. What had happened was, whilst we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. Now, cheering. I'm gonna start right here, because listen, to be completely honest, ooh, my luck journey about yesterday. Well, let me tell you, Cheering, you wish you were here yesterday. I think we pulled some scabs off of the wound for some of my brethren in the chat on yesterday. But please understand, you miss a day, and dang. At the end of the day, conversations need to be had. Conversations need to be held. And I'm not scared. You know, we're not going to run from anything. And as I said, if you do it, this is the way I was raised. If you do it in public, we're going to deal with it in public. If you do it in private, we'll deal with it in private. But since you did it in public on my stream, we just had to come on out and deal with some things. Some folk got triggered and disfigured, Stirs the Soul, but it's all good. It's all good. Because at the end of the day, this stream is here to impart truth and to get us to a level of understanding. And I'm going to say this. Let me just declare my intentions, which I was doing this as we have new people coming in. Glenda M.H. Groves, good morning to you, sis. That's my beautiful sister and friend from all the way back to high school at the dear old Bonner Springs High School. Come on in here. I give you so much love to you, and thank you for liking the stream. Now, you know, this is how I'm going to view that, because we've got to really tell our truth and talk our talk. Oh, Stacy, you missed it yesterday, because I upset some of my white brothers, and they got in the chat and they got a little, as Stirs the Soul said, they got triggered and disfigured. And at the end of the day, we just stayed with them and we just spoke truth. We spoke truth. And by the end of the day, when my brother had gone all the way off the deep end and typed in all bold, in all caps rather, God is white, I knew I had taken him right on over the edge. I knew that I had taken him right on over the edge. But at the end of the day, and I've been doing this because the stream has grown and is growing. Lord have mercy. That's when I knew it was over for him. It was over for him. He just couldn't go another. It was the God is white for me too, Rebel. That's when I knew I was done talking to him completely and entirely. And he did get blocked. He just couldn't take no more, K2 Hoop. He just could not take any more. And to really kind of bring this into perspective, this is where I want us to understand, sometimes you got to give folk enough rope to hang themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to give folks enough rope to hang themselves. Because you remember he came in with the, I love all races. I love all people. I blah, 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 blah. Oh, yes, he did, Stacy. His final statement after he had completely come unhinged was in all caps, mind you, God is white. So he screamed it in the stream, and we screamed it right back to him. You ignorant. You are ignorant, sir. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Oh, he was a good white evangelical. And you know, they love to bless you real good. They love to tell you all of these blessings that they're pronouncing and decreeing and declaring over your life and over your family's life, but they're still racist. So we had to deal with that on yesterday. Now, as the stream and as the platform has grown, as I shared with you all, I have fairly, I didn't know if you were still here or not. God is white, I say. Stacy, listen, it was heated. Somebody said I'm picking my feet up off the floor because the floor is on fire. The roof was on fire too. But listen, at the end of the day, I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. And I've been declaring my intentions to become the #1 platform streaming Black consciousness and Black historical truths with a spiritual perspective. That's what we're doing up in here. And how are we doing that? By deconstructing the walls between the sacred and the secular so that we can breed balance, freedom, and success in our health, wealth, and relationships. That's what we're doing. Good morning, Disco Darren. So much we sure did. Disco Darren 1966 is a streamer, you all. If you're not following Disco Darren 1966, quick your wicked ways. You were at a stop fairly. Quit your wicked ways, because he's gonna bless your whole life. And I appreciate you. Disco Darren was in his stream on yesterday. Dr. Dady was in her stream on yesterday, and they were both supportive of the stream. And I want to appreciate you all for that, Disco Darren. And Disco, let the folks know, don't y'all mess with Spiritual Thought Leader. Don't y'all mess with Rebel, because I'll fight for them girls. And I appreciate all of you all that were holding down the fort and all of you all that were sending love. Now, I will say while I'm here, Disco Darren 1966 has given me the privilege and the honor to be leading the barber shop or the beauty shop in the month of October. So I will be there and others of us will be there, and we will be hosting that stream for Disco Darren in October. So I'm passing that info onto you now. Get that intel, get it on your calendar. We will be going into the barber shop, and the ladies will be taking over with me, and so much mad love to you. So now at the end of the day, Music Spasms, come on in here. Music Spasms is a streamer, y'all. If you're not listening to Music Spasms, if you're not subscribed to Music Spasms, if you're not following Music Spasms, quit your wicked ways. Just quit them. Because listen, I promise you, he's going to bless your life. Good to see you here, and good morning. God is white, and so are these white folding chairs. Disco Darren, let me tell you what. My sister BTD mom, Michelle Brownell, I done missed you saying good morning. I don't know how I did that, but listen, let me get that. That's my angel. Now look, Disco Darren, I was riding in the car to the event that we went to last night, and my sister said, BTD mom, Anita Harvey said, when she saw God is white and so are these white folding chairs, she said she lost it. She said when she read that in the chat, she hollered. She was outside watering her garden, and she said, I bet my neighbors are wondering what's wrong with her. But listen, the white folding chairs took her out, Disco Darren. Oh, that chat yesterday, that chat, y'all were on it. I was like, oh, Lord, the saints, the saints, the saints, and the ain'ts. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say this. We as black people, the sales on the white folding chairs has escalated. You probably can't find one in the store right now, Bronx Harlem girl. So at the end of the day, this whole element of not talking our truth, and I'm saying this to the black community, because we have been cowered down. We have been taught to be quiet, just find your place in your space and sit over there and don't say anything. Don't offend anybody. Now, mind you, I'm not trying to purposely offend anyone, but I want to encourage us as black folks, stop being quiet. This stuff needs to be addressed. This stuff needs to be talked about. You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? This stuff needs to be, because otherwise we cannot heal if we're not going to deal with the truth. We cannot heal if we're not going to actually begin to have real dialogue, not what's politically correct, not what makes somebody feel comfortable, what makes somebody else feel. Understand that's the whole idea of why they want to take the history of the black African American and black community out of the learning and the education system, because they don't want people talking and knowing all the dastardly things, and I do mean dastardly. They don't want folks to know all the dastardly stuff that they've done down through the years, but it needs to be taught not only to our children, but especially to our children, but it needs to be taught to everybody. We ain't picking and choosing. And while I'm here, before Fairly All Day gets out the car, let me give this to you, sis.
The title of this song is they're going to sing for you is The Devil's in the Phone Booth, dialing 911.
This is for Fairly All Day.
Well, the devil's in the phone booth, dialing 911. Well, the church is on their knees
Let's
and they're looking
go.
at the spiritual gun.
BTD mom.
Well, the devil thought he had us, but the tables are turned, and now he's on the run. The devil's in the phone booth, dialing 911. My whole life has changed.
Fairly, this is for you.
I proclaim the mighty name of Jesus Christ to everyone that I see. You know the keys to the kingdom are the secret to success. To lose the Holy Ghost and the Son. The devil's in the phone booth.
Rebel, she's on it.
Dialing 911.
My life journey said my whole life has changed. Listen, I gotta take y'all back to yesterday, because in case you didn't know, listen. Hello, devil. This is the spiritual thought leader. I just was calling because I wanted to know, did you send them brethren yesterday? Did you did you send them? Did you say you didn't send them, they just showed up and they came on their own. Everybody's blaming everything on you, even some of the stuff you didn't do. You sent them someplace else and they detoured and came to the lion's den. Okay. Listen, because they came in hollering, the devil made me do it, just like Geraldine in the Church of What's Happening Now. They lying on you too? Okay. That's all I want to know. Okay, goodbye. So listen, they weren't sent, they just went. Listen, they just came in here on their own. DJ P-Foo is in the room. Good morning, my brother. DJ P-Foo is a streamer, y'all. If you're not following DJ P-Foo, quit your wicked ways. Just quit them. Because listen, that made your morning fairly. I'm glad I was able to make your morning. If you're not following DJ P-Foo, quit your wicked ways. Just quit him. Because I promise you, he's going to transform and bless your whole life. I promise you, he will. Rebel said I called myself to preach it. Some were sent and some just went, Rebel. You better go ahead and call yourself to preach. Now, just like them jokers that showed up on yesterday, the devil said he didn't even send them. They just showed up on their own will and volition. So there you have it. You got it straight from the horse's mouth here in the lion's den. Come on in here, Mino 3782. So much love to you. Listen, Disco Darren done put the telephone number in there. 1-666-666-6666. That is the telephone number, in case you want to call. Now, listen here, children. To be really, really serious, I just have to say, the devil has T-Mobile. Mino said, I'm taking 777. I'm not mad. I think you need one more 7 there, Mino, but I got you. Listen, at the end of the day, children, somebody told me, Michelle Brown, or was it you? T-Mobile done turned off the phones on a whole city. K2 Hoop, I see the highway to hell. T-Mobile done turned off the phones on a whole entire city. Where they do that at? Explain it to me, Lucy. Explain it to me. But at any rate, I'm telling you what, the whole city, Michelle Brown, when Rebel told me that, I said, what in the world? T-Mobile, what you doing? What you doing, T-Mobile? How you gonna shut down the whole city? Now, the thing I want to know, are y'all gonna get a refund or some kind of discount, Michelle Brown? That's what I want. That's what I said, my lock journey. Well, dang. How you shut off a whole entire city? I don't know, but they did. So T-Mobile must be having some kind of problem, y'all. Joanna G, the whole city. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? T-Mobile in that city, Kansas City, they ain't got no service. They didn't have no service. And I'm like, what are y'all giving these folks back in exchange for what you have taken away? Now, I'm going to talk about something while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. If you have a Publix in your city, Publix, if you have a Publix in your city, please put a 1 in the chat. If you have a Publix in your city, put a 1 in the chat. I think Publix is predominantly oh, thank you for sneaking through. I'm so glad. Mad love back to you, and give love to grandma as well. We love you and bless you, Mino 3782. You've been with us since day one, and I appreciate you. Mad love, and get you some sleep because I know you work nights. Now, I see you, Joanna G, My Lock Journey. And can I ask, are you all located in a southern state? Because I'm thinking Publix is only in the South, maybe. Excuse me. I'm thinking that it's located in the southern states because we don't have Publix up here. But listen, the folks and the saints are saying, wow, we got all of this giving of accolades to how good of a company they are and this, that, and the other. The saints said, not so. So at the end of the day, they're in the southern states. Okay, thank you, My Lock Journey. Disco Darren, you all got a Publix as well. Let me see who else has got a Publix. And they're Fairly All Day, you got a Publix. Well, listen, at the end of the day, Publix is on the hot seat cheering because the black workers done come out to strike, and they said, listen, while they got this reputation of this and that and the other, the way they are treating us as black workers out here, no ma'am, no sir. So there is a strike going on, and there are all kind of comments coming back. You love Publix and Mardi Gras wings. And that's the thing, My Lock Journey, they were talking about how it's in Indiana. Okay, thank you, Disco Darren. We can't enjoy nothing. Not Publix. Yes, Publix. So at the end of the day, they said they have put out this public image for Publix, but the way they're treating their black workers is less than par. It's substandard. And so there is a strike going on, and there are many people that are right in there with them that are saying, yes, they've witnessed or have been past workers that experienced. I read one from a mother who said her son worked there and he was treated so disrespectfully and so ugly that she is glad that the black Publix workers are coming out to protest and to strike Publix. So here we go. Let's hear what they got to say. Let me get this.
We are tired of being overworked and underpaid. We want to be treated just like the other co-workers, the ones that do not look like us. We want fair justice in this place. Publix spends a lot of money on its reputation. So if you guys have the reputation that you're treating your employees with kindness, dignity, and respect, then you guys need to stand on that on an everyday basis.
Publix, you're no good. Treat your workers like you should.
I love Publix. I am employed at Publix. I love the people. I feel that people of color be treated any kind of way. People of color, of my color, get treated the worst. I watch it, I've seen it, and it's not right. I'm not going to accept that.
Hey, Publix! Treat your workers like you should!
And there you have it. So as we I'm gonna let that run again.
We are tired of being overworked and underpaid. We want to be treated just like the other co-workers, the ones that do not look like us. We want fair justice in this place. Publix spends a lot of money on its reputation. So if you guys have the reputation that you're treating your employees with kindness, dignity, and respect, then you guys need to stand on that on an everyday basis.
Publix, you're no good. Treat your workers like you should.
I love Publix. I am employed at Publix. I love the people. I feel that people of color be treated any kind of way. People of color, of my color, get treated the worst. I watch it, I've seen it, and it's not right. I'm not going to accept that.
Hey, Publix! Treat your workers like you should!
Now, this part right here, there is a sentiment, especially in the South Carolina area, that there is still such a heavy cloak of racism that is just off the chain. No, they're not unionized, Disco Darren. They're not unionized, as I understand from the Post. And that's what many of them were saying, that the only way, particularly in these areas, that they're going to get help in these conditions is that they're going to need to unionize. So at the end of the day, and yes, they know they can be terminated. They do know that they can be terminated. But this is a Disco Darren. Let me tell you, one of the things that one of the workers said, yes, they know they can be terminated, but especially over there in, I guess Publix is known in these stores as having some excellent food. But I guess if you got all black folk in there cooking, I'm not surprised. But like the one worker said, they really don't want to terminate us because they are known for our food and our cooking. They really don't want to terminate us because we're known for our good food and our good cooking. So they are willing, Disco Darren, to go ahead and strike and take a chance with their jobs. They ain't lying. The food is good. Listen, I heard a lot of people in the comments were talking about how good that food is at Publix. And those black sisters said, looky here, the food over here is good, but y'all treating us like trash. So at the end of the day, they're willing to take that risk. Now, at the end of the day, I don't know. The Gift, Nathan Lamont, come on in here. So much mad love to you. Now, the thing that I think a lot of people are not aware of, does anybody know who actually owns Publix? Now, that's the next question I want to ask. Does any of, do any of those of you that patronize Publix, do you know who owns Publix? Because one of the things that they're bringing into play, Publix is housed out of Florida, and the heiress to the Publix chains is one of the MAGA, however y'all want to pronounce it. She is one of the MAGA funders, super funders, and has been one of Trump's super funders for, yes, it's in Florida. Their headquarters is in Florida. So at the end of the day, because then they'll have white people in there cooking. Stacy! Now, don't y'all get offended because Stacy is white. She doesn't mind me disclosing her ethnicity. Stacy is white. So at the end of the day, she said they'll have white people in there cooking chipped beef on soggy toast. I'm done, Stacy. I'm done. Not chipped beef on soggy toast. At the end of the day, Jesus be offense. So yes, I don't know what they used to be fairly, but they ain't owned by Latino no more. So this is part of the issue that people are arguing about. Yes, the Jenkins family. That's correct, Disco Darren, the Jenkins family. So these are, she was one of the top donors to the Trump. Now, at the end of the day, I know I got some Republicans in here, so you know I'm not trying to be partisan, but I'm just saying the man is a crook. So at the end of the day, this is where funding has come from in a large way, which that in and of itself says so many things. Yes, the white Jenkins family, they are white, Mylock Journey. So many people are challenging the issue, and it is the daughter is now the heiress to all of this. So at the end of the day, I have to say, on behalf of these workers who are speaking up for themselves, and this is the thing that I want us to understand in a world that wants black folks to be quiet. And I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that unabashedly. We as black people live in a world that wants us to sit down, shut up, and dribble. Did you understand the words that came out of my mouth? We live in a world that wants us to sit down, shut up, and dribble. Perform, entertain, do the work, but shut up and be quiet. After you don't get the pay, you don't get the recognition, we'll steal, rob, maim, and everything else. Now, that being said, this is the country's fabric that has been created through the white supremacist type of thinking. Everybody's not a white supremacist. And as I tell people all the time, this stream has people that are here from all ethnicities and from all different backgrounds. At the end of the day, I'm not talking against white people. I'm talking against racism. That is what set this whole stream ablaze on yesterday, because I want us to be clear. As I show, well, let me, at the end of the day, I can show the video again. I was going to go someplace else, but since I'm here, let me just roll with it. I'm going to show you what set us ablaze on yesterday, because we've got to understand there's a difference between prejudice and racism. Racism has an element where you must absolutely have some element of power included in that. So at the end of the day, let's be clear. Let's understand what it is that we're talking about, because I want people to really understand the difference between racism and prejudice. And this gets thrown around as if the two are simultaneously interchangeable, but they are not. It is not. So I'm gonna show this once more and again, and I really wasn't planning to go here, but it's worth the listen, because there's so much truth in this. I want black people to be clear. When you use terminology, use the correct terminology, so we don't continue this confusion around these words between racism and prejudice. So here we go. Let's listen.
How many people think they understand what racism is? Show of hands. Come on, you think you know. I'm not suggesting I know. I just have a couple of definitions that kind of came to me as I thought of. How many people think there are white racists? That there are white racists out there? How many think there are black racists out there? Okay. Now, this is an interesting thing, because this becomes important as we begin to define concepts. I do that. I usually define concepts all the way. But one of the things that I do is I try to help people get a picture of what I mean by racism. So tell me how it is. The first category is white racism, then we'll deal with black racism. So white racism. Tell me the ways in which white racism adversely impacts the lives of black people. Just what are the ways that white racism can adversely impact the lives of black people as a group? What are some of those ways? I'm sorry? Power, but how is that defined specifically? Education, okay. I'm sorry? Economically, employment. What else? Housing, what else? Policing. Why are we here today? Healthcare, okay. Now, we could actually kind of grow that list. Now we're going to move over to black racism. Tell me the ways in which black racism adversely impacts the lives of white people as an entire group. Thank you. The reason why you become silent, there's one that always comes up, and that's fear. White people are afraid of black people. They are afraid of us. And it's a very interesting thing, because black people know it. We know white people are afraid, but you have to start getting into the psychology. What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid? But it's an interesting dynamic. Now, also you see the difference in what racism is, do you not? Racism implies you have not just prejudice, but the power to do something with that prejudice. Now, I don't like you, not only that, but I'm going to control whether you can get, I may say I hate you. I hate white people. I hate them. It's not going to change you getting that, loan when you go to the bank. I can hate you all the way to the bank. Not going to change. Do you see the difference? That whereas white racism says, not only do I not like you, but I'm going to change the impact of where you can live. I'm going to determine with that racism where your powers are. You following me? And I'm talking about as a group, not an individual, because people said, I remember when my uncle didn't. I'm not talking about your uncle. I'm talking about the whole group. I'm not talking about an incident. That's a difference. But white people are afraid.
Now that part right there, fairly all day. You have an awesome day. I was typing that up, but I just want you to have a marvelous day, and thank you for coming in while you could. So this dynamic that we've got to be clear. When you talk about racism, you're talking about the power to be able to control. Like she said, you can control by redlining whether or not you can live in a certain area. You can control by other means of how in the world. As a matter of fact, let me go here. This is some of the control as well. And my journey and my job to wake up the lions, any lions. I don't care your ethnicity. I don't care your culture. I don't care about any of that. My job is to wake you up to the truth. And when I say that, the truth is what makes and sets us free. So at the end of the day, if you don't know the truth, we cannot be set free. We cannot be made free. So this is my journey and this is my job. So when we talk about that and how you can manipulate and use your power to exact and exert your racist behavior and ideology, this is exactly how it happens. Now, Tall Pumps put something in. Let me see if I can get back to it here. When you start talking about how you can actually control and dominate a whole community or a whole group of people, such as the whole Black community in its entirety. When you have the power to do that, that power is what feeds and makes the racism work. So Tall Pumps put this in, and I wasn't planning on going here, but this is where I'm gonna go right now because it seems like it fits in this space in this time. So listen to how when you start talking about being able to control where you live and how you live, it's things like this. Here we go. Hold on just a second. Let me get the sound going for you. Okay, there we go. My apologies. Here we go.
Americans owned about 15 million acres of land, mostly farmland. That's equivalent to Black people owning the entire state of West Virginia. But by 1997, Black land ownership was decimated, down to just 1.1 million acres of land, essentially the size of Rhode Island. So the question is, what happened? It was stolen. You see, over that 90-year period, white people developed multiple ways to take Black-owned land. They used tools like tax laws, fraudulent contracts, and the Torrance Act. But they also used state-sanctioned violence. It's not enough to frame these events as the actions of a few bad actors, because those bad actors were fully enabled by local, state, and federal government officials. They were allowed to get away with it, and in some cases were encouraged by the federal government to take Black-owned land through programs like urban renewal. According to a study by the American Bar Association, a conservative estimate of the cumulative value of the land and property stolen from Black people totals somewhere around $326 billion. If that represented the GDP of a country, that country's economy would rank 41st in the entire world, ahead of Finland, New Zealand, and South Africa. In other words, they stole an entire country from Black people, cutting off critical economic power and plunging Black families into generations of poverty. The foundation of generational wealth in America is ownership, and that foundation was insidiously stripped away from millions of Black families. My point is that a debt is owed to Black people, and the evidence of that fact is all around us if you're willing to look. Did you know that in the year 1910, Black...
And as he said, if you're willing to look. Now, that is statistical. I love that brother. He gives some good statistical information and some very well-informed videos. And again, probably one of the biggest enemies to us getting the equity that we need is the ignorance, not only of ourselves, because we don't know our own history, but the ignorance of those in the power structure. Let me even take that away, because those in the power structure, I'm not even going to give them that off. I'm not going to give them that get out of jail for free. They know. They're not oblivious to it. But then the masses, and as I love to quote Dr. King, our biggest enemy are not the people of the KKK, and other hate groups. Our biggest enemy tends to be the moderate whites who do nothing and say nothing and allow the system continue. And of course, they're going to allow the system to continue because at the end of the day, there's a benefit. There's a definite benefit. Hold on a second. To them being able to have the privileges, even as those that came in on yesterday, the privilege of being able to talk and say whatever they want to say, and then just leave and dismiss you without really going through to give you an opportunity to even speak. And that dismissive energy is still alive and well. I want to share this, and Michelle Brownell put this in for us, and it just seems like a good place to go with it right here. I'm gonna sit through. We'll have to go through a couple of quick ads here because they run before I can actually get to the video. But it talks about 40 acres and a mule. Michelle, I appreciate you for that. Tall Pumps, I appreciate you for your input. Truck drivers always giving me input. And Fairly All Day gave us a video that I'm going to be showing here in a minute. The first part of it we've already seen, but she has another part that I also want to add to that. And we'll be showing that today as well before we get to our main topic.
Drives every Wednesday and Saturday. Your numbers, your game. How do you
encourage us to do what we do? Don't stop. We're doing something and we're going somewhere.
Paulette O'Brien, welcome to Matter of Fact. The history of the United States is complicated and full of contradictions, with the greatest contradiction being the institution of slavery. While the founders professed a belief in liberty, enslaved Africans worked their fields and raised their monuments, building the nation's wealth without pay and on land they couldn't lay claim to. There have been calls for compensation to those who were enslaved and now their descendants. Most recently, a California task force submitted a reparations report to the state's lawmakers, which proposes cash payments and other support like home buyers assistance and free tuition for black families. And Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush introduced a bill for compensation from the federal government. But how do you put a price tag on more than 150 years of continued and systemic injustice? Our special correspondent Joey Chen traveled to Georgia to talk to researchers trying to do that math.
Here, where southern rivers meet the sea, is the scene of America's first broken promise to black Americans: liberty and land. Why is land so important?
It's a way that we have control of family, control of our lives.
Historian and activist Amir Jamal Touré's family traces its ties to Georgia's Sea Islands and the Carolina Lowcountry all the way back to the early 1800s.
For at least 3 generations.
They weren't alone. Some 40,000 freedmen were allocated land in one of the last acts of the Civil War.
Special Field Order Number 15, better known as 40 Acres and a Mule.
Not just a platitude, but a promise. On General Sherman's march to the sea, as many as 10,000 newly liberated people followed the Union forces. So they're emancipated.
Yes.
But
where do we go? Where do we go?
Under pressure and facing skepticism from Washington about his own loyalties, Sherman called black pastors to his Savannah headquarters. So what is this that we're seeing?
We're seeing the meeting.
Vonette Good Walker leads the Ralph Mark Gilbert Civil Rights Museum in Savannah, home of the only illustration of the meeting.
And this is Reverend Garrison.
He was their voice.
He was the voice. He was the spokesperson for all of them.
It was Reverend Garrison Frazier's reply to Sherman that set the stage for a groundbreaking order.
You know, what do you want? What do you want from us? And he says, we want land and we want education.
The result, Special Field Order 15 reallocated land from Charleston, South Carolina down to Jacksonville and 30 miles inland, turning the property of rice plantation Confederates over to the newly emancipated, a directive which could have changed wealth distribution for generations.
It becomes our generational wealth of being able to pass something down to our children.
Instead, it became a promise broken. Sandy Darity and Kirsten Mullen study the history of and potential for restorative justice, beginning with those 40 acres. Draw that line for me to reparations conversations today. Are they really connected?
Oh, absolutely.
The couple's books outline a clear case for the nation's debt to Black America.
One of the key goals of a true reparations project would be the elimination of the racial wealth gap. And that figure at the moment is on the low end, $14 trillion.
A mind-bending sum, but the researchers point to billions. even trillions that Washington deems worth it for corporate bank bailouts, agricultural prices, COVID relief. By their accounting, an average of $850,000 paid to each family descended from enslaved Africans might only scratch the surface of the nation's true debt. What does America as a society owe Black Americans?
Restitution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, restitution. And the capacity to be able to participate.
It's all right. I'm going to come right back to it, Jiren. So here we go. Thank you so much, One Reason. Hey. Shelly Thunder, KB Browns, Kim Blue, Cammy, come on in here, Miss Fee 07. One Reason and the Gospel Takeover. One Reason is a streamer, y'all. If you're not following One Reason, quick, chewing away, just quit them. I appreciate you, my brother, and welcome. Miss Frosty 60803, come on in here. Mad love and welcome to the Raiders. It's good to have you this morning. Our Soldiers for Christ family is in the house. Please refresh your screens. Big Moochie, baby. Come on in here. Mino 3782, thank you for your resub. Come on, I appreciate you so much. Come through. I love you. Hey. Come on now. Misty Blue, thank you for that resub. We're building something. To your left. Hey. Now walk it on back. Now there we go. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. One Reason and Soldiers for Christ. Good morning and blessed morning to you. Nothing but mad love. Now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back just a tad. Since you all came in, I definitely want to include you. So I know those that are already here, the Lions are always gracious. We're going to go back and re-show what we are talking about at this particular moment, because we're talking about the wealth gap being closed and what needs to happen. And so we pulled out and we were talking about land and the value of land and how we as Black people keep being robbed of land. Miss Frosty, thank you so much. We keep being robbed of land. And so we're sharing this video from Soledad O'Brien. And so we'll run it again from the top, and please enjoy. Look at One Reason. That's my guy. Y'all, if you're not following One Reason, quick, wicked wise, just quit him. Because listen, I'm here to tell you, he's going to bless your whole entire life. Now, here we go. I'm going to run this once more and again. And to all of you that just came in, welcome.
I'm Soledad O'Brien. Welcome to Matter of Fact. The history of the United States is complicated and full of contradictions, with the greatest contradiction being the institution of slavery. While the founders professed a belief in liberty, enslaved Africans worked their fields and raised their monuments, building the nation's wealth without pay and on land they couldn't lay claim to. There have been calls for compensation to those who were enslaved and now their descendants. Most recently, a California task force submitted a reparations report to the state's lawmakers, which proposes cash payments and other support like home buyers assistance and free tuition for Black families. And Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush introduced a bill for compensation from the federal government. But how do you put a price tag on more than 150 years of continued and systemic injustice? Our special correspondent Joey Chen traveled to Georgia to talk to researchers trying to do that math.
Here, where southern rivers meet the sea, is the scene of America's first broken promise to Black Americans: liberty and land. Why is land so important?
It's a way that we have control of family, control of our lives.
Historian and activist Amir Jamal Touré's family traces its ties to Georgia's Sea Islands and the Carolina Low Country all the way back to the early 1800s.
For at least 3 generations.
They weren't alone. Some 40,000 freedmen were allocated land in one of the last acts of the Civil War.
Special Field Order Number 15, better known as 40 Acres and a Mule.
Not just a platitude, but a promise. On General Sherman's march to the sea, as many as 10,000 newly liberated people followed the Union forces. So they're emancipated.
Yes.
But
where do we go? Where do we go?
Under pressure and facing skepticism from Washington about his own loyalties, Sherman called black pastors to his Savannah headquarters. So what is this that we're seeing?
We're seeing the meeting.
Vonette Good Walker leads the Ralph Mark Gilbert Civil Rights Museum in Savannah, home of the only illustration of the meeting.
And this is Reverend Garrison.
He was their voice.
He was the voice. He was the spokesperson for all of them.
It was Reverend Garrison Frazier's reply to Sherman that set the stage for a groundbreaking order.
You know, what do you want? What do you want from us? And he says, we want land and we want education.
The result, Special Field Order 15 reallocated land from Charleston, South Carolina down to Jacksonville and 30 miles inland, turning the property of rice plantation Confederates over to the newly emancipated, a directive which could have changed wealth distribution for generations.
It becomes our generational wealth of being able to pass something down to our children.
Instead, it became a promise broken. Sandy Darity and Kirsten Mullen study the history of and potential for restorative justice, beginning with those 40 acres. Draw that line for me to reparations conversations today. Are they really connected?
Oh, absolutely.
The couple's books outline a clear case for the nation's debt to Black America.
One of the key goals of a true reparations project would be the elimination of the racial wealth gap. And that figure at the moment is on the low end, $14 trillion.
A mind-bending sum, but the researchers point to billions, even trillions that Washington deems worth it for corporate bank bailouts, agricultural prices, COVID relief. By their accounting, an average of $850,000 paid to each family descended from enslaved Africans might only scratch the surface of the nation's true debt. What does America as a society owe Black Americans?
Restitution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, restitution. And the capacity to be able to participate on an equal basis in this society.
We hand out checks today. Can they accomplish that?
Well,
they can go a long way.
A whole lot.
So could land. And what happened to those 40 acres for Black freedmen? Well, after Lincoln's death, his successor, Andrew Johnson, quickly rescinded the field order, reneging on the promise. If those 40 acres had stayed with those people who were supposed to get it,
we would have altered the entire dynamic of economic inequality by race in the United States.
So we wouldn't have to talk about reparations today.
Probably not.
Probably not.
That's our speculation.
Instead, the debt grew with compounded interest from generations of other inequities. Back on land that could have been part of his family's legacy, the irony isn't lost on Jamal Touré.
We're not living with the trauma of America not facing up to it. If we had lived up to it, we wouldn't have to worry about it right now. But at some point, we're going to have to face up to it.
For many on these lands and beyond, America's debt is an invoice long overdue. In Savannah, I'm Joey Chen for Matter of Fact.
And there you have it. As is being pointed out, this is a promise. This was a promise that was given. And when you start talking about there needs to be restitution, there needs to be reparations, it's long overdue, My Lock Journey. It's long overdue. And as someone said earlier, we need to even have those that will lead the charge in this direction because it needs some guidance and some direction. Otherwise, it's just an idea and a concept out there flapping in the wind. While we all know this invoice needs to be paid. This invoice needs to be paid by America. As the writers of the book pointed out, anytime they deem something worthy, and I'm going to say this especially about the bailout to the corporations. Well, you know, we gotta bail them out or else the whole country would collapse. We always see, now corporations are not even people. Corporations are scenarios where someone that owns that corporation, the stockholders and the owners, are making personal private property, but we always find the means by which to bail them out. And those are the individuals that are usually in that 1% top tier of the money and the finance. They really don't need to have a bailout anyway, because they've already got more money than they can spend as it is. But we find it okay to come out of the pocket of the American public, because it's our tax dollars that pay for those bailouts to corporations that oftentimes do not pay their fair share in taxes, mind you. So you're being paid once more and again by your labor source. You're being paid once more and again by the people that are bearing your burden. And at the end of the day, with minimal to no contributions, and you got off-sea shore accounts and accounts in other countries and this and that and the other to keep from being taxed. But then the taxpayers have to bail you out, and you think that's okay. Just like they pointed out, if they had taken those trillions of dollars, they could have paid the $850,000 per black family if they had done that. And then when she said, do you think that would be enough? Well, it'll sure go a long way. If you could do something with the $850,000, somebody giving you a clear check for $850, put a 1 in the chat. I'm just saying. Come on, y'all. Let's call a spade a spade. You can do what you want to do, but you don't want to give us anything for what we have contributed to this country, and that's just shameful. So yes, as one reason said, we need to talk about them reneging. Because, baby, every time you turn around, there are promises. And that was the name of the picture. That was the name of the conversation that they had with General Sherman, the promise. And the promise was made. Now, this is the thing. I want y'all to see this. Once the volatility level hit such a high peak, then Lincoln tells Sherman, or Sherman calls the preachers together, the black preachers. And I want to say to the black churches, stop pushing these folks' agendas. I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. To these black churches. And unfortunately, we have a lot of black pastors that feel excited. Well, I was called to the White House and I talked to the president. Okay, what did you do to make a difference for the people? You are taking this opportunity for your own personal gain, for your own personal feed your ego. I was at the White House. I talked to the president. They call these black preachers just like they did with the promise. Sit down and have this conversation, make a promise, and then renege. I said what I said. And many of them are just photo ops, stirs the soul. Many of them are just photo ops. But folks are so hungry for attention. Folks are so hungry for, we cannot get true leadership. I said what I said, and I'll add to it if I take it back. We cannot get full and true leadership so that we have the same scenario. Now look at that. All the way back to Sherman. Because before that, you remember black preachers were not considered, black folks wasn't considered nothing. And before, at the time of slavery, they had evangelical white preachers that went around to the plantation and preached to the slaves. They didn't have black preachers. So at the end of the day, that's why black preachers were going out there under the brush arbor, going out there in the woods, going wherever they could go and hide and have camp meeting together. But at the end of the day, the real church service was some evangelical white preacher that was sent to preach to them to make sure they didn't get any ideas about freedom and to make sure that they remain docile and calm and little good folks on the plantation. So at the end of the day, I look at it and I say, we've got to really take note of our history, because this historical ploy just keeps being repeated. Call the preachers together. Because they know, listen, and some of y'all that your preacher can tell you anything and y'all go with it hook, line, and sinker. Listen, those days need to end too. I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. Well, my pastor said we need to support da-da-da-da-da-da. No, listen. I need you to pay attention. I need you to do legwork. I need you to investigate. And I don't care if pastors preaching it from the pulpit. This is what we need to do in relationship to what they've asked us to do. Y'all remember the promise. Call the black preachers together. Get them to talk to the people, and the people will follow them blindly over the cliff. And then what are we going to do after we get their full support, their participation, their blood, sweat, and tears? Then we gonna renege. Am I talking to anybody? Y'all, it's the same soup warmed over. It's the same candy bar, different wrapper. Stacy 546, it's not complicated. White people stole, period. You name it, they stole it. People, land, culture, etc. The country was built off the backs of those they stole. To this very day, the descendants of those who were stolen are still not treated equally as their white counterparts. There's a line in the Constitution that says all men are created equal. They either need to take it out or make it so. They need to make it so, but even when they wrote it, Stacy 5-6, they weren't including black folks, and quite frankly, you as a white woman, they weren't including you either, because women weren't considered people either, including white women. Steal property. I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. So at the end of the day, and they cause their own issue. Come on, one reason. So this part right here, they stay subscribing to this trickle down theory. Meanwhile, the proverbial shower is golden. Come on with that. You know the truth. You know the truth. That's like GM and Chrysler. They took the federal buyout in 2009. Ford Motor Company didn't take the buyout, but the employees gave to Ford to help them survive. Come on here, Disco. I'm talking, you listen, this. Girl, so at the end of the day, I'm looking and I'm saying, why do we keep buying this can and this bag of goods that has been sold to us so many times over? And at the end of the day, what do we come up with? A country that reneges on the promise. A country that reneges on the promise to black folks. So this is where I want us to hold the country's feet to the fire and say, yes, as you said, Stacy 546, all men and women are created equal. And you need to live up to what you wrote in the Constitution. And I'm not saying take it out. I'm saying live up to it. I'm not going to let you off that easily, because you know what they'll do, Stacy 546? They'll take it out. Just like they reversed so many other laws here of late. How do you make a law just based on the whims of a particular majority holding party? And if that's what the law is going to consist of, either the law is about justice or the law is about your political parties, but it can't be both. And it needs to be, if it's a just law, it needs to be about justice and not a ruling party. I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. Because you're in the lion's den where there's no cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because we tells it like it T-I-Z tis. And I said what I said. I did do it. So at the end of the day, some treat the pulpit as a full pit. I hear you, stirs the soul, and you didn't lie on that. You did not lie. BTD mom, master made the slaves go to those churches. Come on. You better say that, BTD mom. Master made the slaves go to those churches. But why are we still teaching and preaching that same mess now is the question I want to know, BTD mom. Because I'm telling you, I go to black churches everywhere and I hear nothing but slavery concepts taught from the pulpit, and y'all still eating it up hook, line, and sinker. I said what I said, and I'll add to it if I take it back. My preacher is trying to figure me out. Come on, because because y'all go toe to toe. And at the end of the day, I want y'all to understand while we respect a preacher in their position and function, we do not just hand over listen, I'm not handing you my brain. I'm not handing you all my money. I'm not handing you all my labor. I'm not handing you. And especially when you out here misusing and abusing the peoples and there's no help going to the neighborhood. I'm done with that. One reason massacred and stolen. Y'all better talk in here. So at the end, listen, you are telling the truth. They stole from one another, Disco Darren. They stole from one another. So at the end of the day, this is where you just had this conversation. Help the peoples. Come on. I'm trying to tell you, Michelle. This is where we've got to begin to say, no, I will not be silent anymore. And we are insisting that you make good on the promise that you made. Am I talking to anybody? Which promise has the country ever kept? You can serve this country, literally give an arm and a leg, come home, and all they got for that is, listen, now you said something there, Stirs, because really some of our veterans that have been so grossly mishandled, we really need to address how you can literally give an arm and a leg in this country and then come back here and get mistreated. Like trash on the street. Shelby Nicole Cosplay, good morning to you. Shelby Nicole Cosplay is a streamer, y'all. If you're not following Shelby Nicole Cosplay, quit your wicked ways. I want you to quit them because she's going to bless your whole life. Good morning to you, sis, and mad love to you. If this was a game of spades, America would have to... Would you have to take them out back, my lock journey? And this is just the truth. And the truth that America does not want to hear, but the truth that America needs to hear. And everybody, not just black communities, everybody needs to be saying this because any law and any action that is not just, everybody needs to be offended by it, not just the people that are affected by it. You can give an arm and a leg and they still won't give you a hand. Come on with that, Stirs the soul. You can give an arm and a leg and they still won't give you a hand. You better talk to me up in here. And the number of homeless veterans on the street is absolutely, it's disgusting. And it's really shameful. The number of vets that have served their country well that are homeless and on the street and destitute. Yeah, God bless. God bless America. So at the end of the day, I want to come here quick, fast, and in a hurry because I'm on my time. I want to get to now I have several more videos. Let me say this. Team No Pants, for those that want to see the videos that I've been showing, the clips of. If you want to see it in its entirety, Team No Pants put the whole video out there for anyone that would like to see it all the way through. As you know, I've been talking on this since last week. We've taken a different segment of it every single week. And so this is what I've done to make it palatable and doable in the stream. By the time we get finished, we will have seen the entire teaching that was given in totality. But because of the time, and I didn't want to just run one big long stream of it, I've got the broken up pieces. If you'd like to see it in its entirety, please go out there. Go to my Discord page, go to videos, and Team No Pants put the video in its entirety there, and you can see it. Now, I want to come here, and I want to, before I do that, I'm going to show this. Fairly All Day put this in for me. Now, I want us to take a look. Now, the one video I actually showed, let me see if I can get this to switch over. Okay, it's not going to let me do that. So I'm going to go ahead and play this in its order. Yes, the video does have sound. I don't know why this doesn't want to play. Okay, let me see if I can find it another way. It does not want to play the sound for some reason, and it does have sound. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll move forward. I won't show that one today. I'll possibly show it tomorrow. When we talk about race, which got us so heated on yesterday, and racism, let's be clear, and I'm gonna say this once more and again. Bright-eyed sunflower, good morning to you. Mad love to you, and thank you for being in the stream this morning. I want to address this once more and again. Race is there is no race but the human race. So anything that you come up with as an idea of races, understand that this race and that race and the other race are constructs of racism. I'm gonna say that again. There is no such thing as race other than the human race. Anytime you deal with the constructs of this race and that race and the other race, that is a construct of racism. Please be clear on that. Please be clear on that. Even as we said on yesterday, and one reason put in there many times on, was it the census, he refused to identify by those races that they had on there because he didn't want to be identified as such, and they sent it back because he had to declare something. But I wish that we would continue to push toward this idea, especially as our country becomes more biracial and interracial. This whole idea just really gets blown out of the water and is unnecessary, other than for the purpose of tracking and keeping some people under oppression. There's no purpose for race. What is the purpose? And you know, what's the purpose of it? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. So I'll show that on tomorrow, because for whatever reason it did not pick up the audio, but I want to definitely show this last segment, and I will show who Fairly All Day put it in, and I definitely want to show it because it's a valid perspective. Now, that being said, I'm gonna go back and we're gonna show a clip from the doctor today. Please pay close attention. I love her. I love her concepts. Again, you can go out there and see all, just like Jane Elliott says, there's one race, my life journey. And I love me some Jane Elliott. I love me some Jane Elliott. Folks, I wasn't trying to hear her either. Now, let's go forward with this segment on today, and then we'll wrap up our discussion.
Know what else is true? You can't have 246 years of folks engaged in a traumatic experience that were white that went unaffected. That means everybody has been affected and infected by this thing. So that's the part that gets uncomfortable, because it's usually okay to look at the other. We're going to look at everybody. This is going to be one where we really show the elephant in the room, and only for the purposes of recognizing that unless we do so, none of us can heal. This is not a process that any of us can do individually by ourselves. This is a collective process. And so therefore, we're all going to be engaged. And it's not just a pointing of fingers at anyone. It's recognizing that you and I, all of us, have been impacted by historical multi-generational trauma. Now, let's look at it very specifically. When we look at trauma in its very, clinical sense, my background in clinical psychology, understanding what trauma is, people can experience a single trauma, one trauma, indirectly, meaning that they didn't have to be present for the direct trauma. Meaning, say for example, you all heard about 9/11 and taking down the buildings in New York, right? Yes? 9/11. Everybody in the world got told about that. Matter of fact, I think everybody in America got diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of that. But I would submit to you we were traumatized long before that. But there were individuals that were at ground zero, and I know them. My niece was in one of the buildings. So she decided, while she was in one of the buildings, they kept telling her, just stay where you are. They kept saying, stay where you are. We think people should stay where they are. She said everything in her mind said, get out. So she got out. Matter of fact, she leapt over the security guard to get out of the building. And it's a good thing she did. But During that time, there were people at Ground Zero, for example, like my niece. And there were people who watched it on television. And then there were people in other countries who heard about it. So there are varying levels of understanding around this trauma that happened in the United States. There were people at Ground Zero, were there, saw folks falling out the sky, got videotape footage of it, watched it on television, invited folks over and drank beer. Not traumatized. No trauma. There were people maybe in another country, in Brazil, saw it on television, in psychotherapy right now, can't get on planes, on medication, and people talk softly to them twice a week. So the variance in terms of those who are traumatized by a traumatic event and those who are not, we're unique as individuals. Everybody's not traumatized by a traumatic event, whether it's direct or not. But when we start talking about chattel slavery, we're not talking about one trauma. We're not talking about a specific event. We're talking about generations of trauma with no intervention. Based on what I know about sugar plantations, tobacco in the Caribbean, what I know about American chattel slavery and the plantations there, does anyone right now ever recall mental health assistance to slaves? Anybody remember sending in the therapist after I sold off your son, daughter, raped folks? At any point? Never. Second question. After slavery was officially over, now you're free. Anybody remember any therapy then? We know it's been rough, it's been deep for you, it's been difficult. We're going to do a little group therapy. Anybody remember that? That would be no. Number 3, after slavery officially ended, both in the States, in the Caribbean, the British, do you remember whether or not trauma continued? Did the trauma continue for people of African descent? I need to know. Okay, so now let's do the math. Hundreds of years of trauma, no treatment. Freed, more trauma, no treatment. What do you do the math? Do you think there may be residual impacts of that trauma? Of course there is. It didn't end, friends, and it hasn't ended yet. So I think on one point, African people and people of African descent are extremely resilient. Matter of fact, I think we're a miracle. Far be it for us to pathologize or to look and cast this idea of weak and sick people. Oh, on the contrary, I'm profoundly resilient because we've done everything we've done thus far with no help, with not even the ability to have this discussion. As though it were possible, we escaped injury in all those hundreds of years and the years that followed.
And that right there, children, I just want to get that segment right there. I absolutely positively love it, love it, love it. LaWanda Baskerville, come on, the moderator extraordinaire. Come on in here and thank you for lurking and twerking and all of that good stuff. So much mad love to you. Now, as she said, Misty Blue, you were in the classroom. One reason, some others of you that are having conversation about 911, when she said, do you remember 911? And some of you had family members, loved ones that were in the area. Many of you, I remember exactly where I was. I was at work. Tall Pumps is pumping tall. Good morning to you, sis. That's my gorgeous sister from Chi-Town. You better come on in here. Now, this is what she's dealing with, this idea of being traumatized. And now, as she points out the issue that one event of 9/11 has left many, many, many people. Come on, Retta Divine. It's more better with Retta. Retta Divine is a streamer, y'all. If you're not following Retta Divine, quit. Just quit them. She's gonna bless your whole life. Now, what she's pointing out here is for those that are still in psychotherapy from 9/11, and that was one event. That was one, and not to minimize it, it was a traumatic event. The point that she is stressing here, and I loved it when she said, Black folks are an absolute miracle. Tall Pumps. I remember September 11th like it was yesterday. I'm coming down and I see Miss Frosty. I remember sitting at work in tears on September 11th. Coming on down, K2 Hoop. I was in the military when 9/11 happened. At the end of the day, I want us to understand that I want us to understand you are able to remember this traumatic event because wherever you were, and many of you, some of you had loved ones in proximity, some of you did not, but the trauma of that has impacted your memory and your brain at such a way you can never forget it. And I want to underscore never forget it because I put up a meme on the other day of a sister that was saying, you know, we can look at the Japanese and what they went through and they'll never forget it. We can look at the Jewish and what they went through and they'll never forget it. But then you look at the Black community that's gone through all that we've gone through and you want us to forget it. But we won't forget. We won't forget. We won't forget. So at the end of the day, you were impacted by that one particular incident on that one particular day, and you'll never forget it. To underscore the point that's being driven for post-traumatic slavery disorder, we look at a situation where for centuries, Black people were repeatedly traumatized. Black people were repeatedly put in situations where we had to watch our loved ones be sold away. We had to watch our loved ones be shot down, murdered, and killed in the streets, whether it was on plantation or whether it's in 2020, 2021, 2022, whether it's George Floyd on the pavement screaming, I can't breathe. We've had to watch this repeatedly, and they're constantly telling us one reason to get over it. Get over it. Get over it. And as she said, whether it was during the time of slavery or whether it was post-slavery, after you released us to go where? You released us to go nowhere and then promised to give us some land and then took that away. And at the end of the day, we've been repeatedly accosted by these egregious behaviors. And when have we received 1 ounce of treatment? When have we been given 1 iota of consideration like you do for every other white human being? How come we don't get that same thing in our Black community? But rather, and actually, conversely, we're constantly being told to get over it. Come on, y'all. Tall Pumps. I was in tears that whole day. That was trauma on trauma. Hurricane Katrina was equally as traumatic. And at the end of the day, we just keep on. Come on, cues the Jeopardy music. Dun, 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 dun. We just have to look at this and say, now this is what I thought was really interesting. Stirs the soul. They spent 400 years programming us, and they're still dropping post-hypnotic suggestions on us to keep us in line. And stirs the soul. I'm gonna give it up. Still dropping post-hypnotic suggestions. And I'm here to call it out. am here to call it out. Whether it's, now see, y'all ain't ready for me. Whether it's putting my girl in the 9th lane, in the consolation lane, whether it's not calling her name, whether it's what, listen, at the end of the day, she ran that race and kicked their butt. But please believe, like she said, when America loved her, then turned around and hated her. Listen, don't you fool yourself. That child was traumatized, even though she still won, Miss Fee. She still won. And this is what she's pointing out in the video. We are miracles because we have such a resiliency. And this is probably when she said, we look at white America and they're scared of us, because if that had been them, if they had been through that, child, they would have lost their minds. They would have lost and committed suicide. They would have done all kinds of things. They are afraid of us because they cannot figure out, we do this, we do that, we do the other. And listen, they will not die. They will not give up. They will not go crazy. They will not lose their mind. What in the world kind of people are these? We are a proud black people, and we refuse to go out like that. And you're not gonna make me lose my mind. You're not gonna make me lose my dignity. You're not gonna make me lose my pride. You're not gonna make me lose the ability to keep pushing forward. I don't care how many roadblocks. I don't care how many things you put in my way as a stumbling block. I don't care how many ways you try to hold me down. I don't care how many times you try to put your knee on my neck. I don't care how many times you shoot us like dogs in the street. I don't care how many times you come at me with that racist behavior. We still win, and they cannot understand it. Woo, am I talking to anybody? And it becomes frightening. It becomes something that is fearful, because can't nobody go through the stuff that we've been through and still thrive. Woo! I said what I said, and I'll add to it if I take it back. Can't nobody. What kind of people are these? What kind of people? DJ Tank, good morning and welcome to you. I saw you come in, but I was caught up. Good morning to you. DJ Tank is a streamer, y'all. If you're not following him, quit your wiggle ways. What kind of people are these? See, ladies, see, good morning to you, sis. Nothing but mad love to you, but what kind of people are these? And the fear is in their hearts because they know we mistreated them. They know we reneged on them. They know we promised them stuff. They know they beat us and left us on the plantations for dead. They know that we built the country with our flesh and blood. They know. Woo, am I talking to anybody? And that incites the fear that we see because they can't figure it out. Surely can't nobody be that resilient. Yes, we are. Standing with our chest stuck out. KB Browns, standing with our chest stuck out. Can't nobody be that resilient. Yes, we are. Whose man is this, Disco Darren? I'm trying to tell you. There is a fear because we will not break. I don't care. Even if I bend, we will not break. What's your name? Kunta Kinte. What's your name? Kunta Kinte. What's your name? Kunta Kinte. Chop chop. What's your name? Toby. But I still raise my babies to the sky, and I still tell my babies, behold, the only thing greater than yourself, your mama was, your daddy was. We were in the land of such and so, and at the end of the day, you chop my foot off, make me say, Toby, you still cannot kill the African Kunta Kinte that's in my spirit. You just can't do it. Woo. Am I talking to anybody? Am I talking to anybody? I Our resiliency comes from on high, and it's spiritual, because we've always been a spiritual people, KB Browns. We've always been. Woo! Am I talking to anybody? We danced to the sound of the cracking whip, stirs the soul. We danced. After they beat us, we danced. After they hung us and lynched us, we danced. After they burned us with fire and took body parts, we danced. Woo. Am I talking to anybody? But the trauma. Am I talking to anybody? The trauma that you want us to forget. Ooh, am I talking to anybody? You want us to forget, and we won't forget. There's no other ethnic group that you want to command and demand that they forget their past. You won't tell my Jewish brothers and sisters to forget the Holocaust. Matter of fact, let me tell you what, let me take it on back to the Bible for all of y'all that are Bible reading and Bible toting. Listen, that's exactly why, listen, we came out a song that said, Jesus, I'll never forget what you done for me. Jesus, I'll never forget how you set me free. Jesus, I'll never forget how you brought me out. No, never. How can I forget how you brought me out? With a mighty outstretched hand, just like we had those that came out of Egypt. They're not going to forget, and God told them to remember, and we're saying that these here United States of America do not come to the black community and tell us to forget. We shall never forget. Woo. I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. We won't forget, and you can't make it. You can't make me. You can't make us. Am I talking to anybody in here? And this is why we tell and retell the stories of our history. This is why we tell it like it T-I-Z-Tis. This is why no cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black. This is why we're waking up the lions in the lion's den, because we won't forget. Woo. Listen, speaking in the key of slavery, you better. Ooh, am I talking to anybody in here? So at the end of the day, as we look at the trauma, and now they done come up with post-traumatic slavery disorder. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here. Our history is rich, Joanna G. Our history is rich, and we need to tell it and retell it. We need to scream it from the rooftops. We need to find it every chance we get. We need to tell it to our children and our children's children. We need to tell it to every other ethnic group. We need to tell it just like everybody else tells their history, their past, their tragedy, their story. We've got to tell ours and stop being quiet. I won't be silent anymore. I just will not. I will not be quiet. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to tell it like it T-I-Z-Tis. No cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because we tells it like it T-I-Z-Tis. Teresa Johnson, good morning to you, sis. So much mad love coming to you. Thank you for joining. Now, this is where we are, and this is what we're doing. And this is how we're educating ourselves. And some people see our time of educating ourselves as teaching reverse racism. No, we're not. And no, we're not teaching black supremacy. No, we're not this, that, and the other that people, we're telling our history and empowering ourselves, because anybody that doesn't know your past, you're doomed to repeat it, and you're doomed to stay in a place and a state that keeps you in bondage, that keeps you in fear, that keeps you in oppression. And we refuse to stay oppressed. Listen, I got to tell it everywhere I go. You better sing it, KB Browns. So this is how we change our narrative. This is how we come and we begin to share and we begin to tell. And listen, I'm not scared. I'll put it right smack dab in front of your face, because at the end of the day, this is what we've been through. This is our journey. This is our history. This is our past. This is our present. And here's where we're going for our future, because it won't be this way always. Am I talking to anybody? We refuse, My Lock Journey won't be this way always. And the idea of us rising up, and not rising up against people, the idea we're rising up for success. We're rising up for generational wealth. We're rising up to come out of this slavery and bondage. That's all we're rising up to. We ain't trying to hurt nobody. We ain't trying to kill nobody. We're trying to lift our own selves up to the place. Lord, lift us up where we belong. Am I talking to anybody? Ooh, our history is, listen, and at the end of the day, then listen, now that history right there, a history of being liars, con artists, and thieves. You got to live with your own self, Joanna G. You got to live with your own self. Ooh, tell the truth, and we shaming Diablo today. All we want you to do is stay out of our way, My Lock Journey. Just stay out of our way and stop putting your knee on our necks. Am I talking to anybody in here? And when we do that, we're coming up out of here. As I said, this is the Black community's house that's on fire. That's my community. I'm going to put the fire out in my community first. Don't ask me to be running all hither, thither, and yon, trying to put the fire out in everybody else's community. And while my house is on fire, no, I'm not going to provide my labor to put your fire out of your house while my house is burning down to the ground. I've done that for hundreds of years in this country. We're not going to continue to do that. Period. We're not going to continue to put your fire out. We're not going to continue to build your economy. We're not going to continue to be your free and substandard labor. We're not going to continue down that trend. And that's exactly why the public's employees are striking. We are not going to continue to be treated this way. Our Montgomery family showed us that sometimes we got to have a folding chair. I'm watching you people. So much love to you. I'm watching you people. I believe is a streamer. If you're not watching, I'm watching you people. Quit your ways. There's a blessing on the way. And that's the way we're going to say it, because it's time to go over to Rebel's house. It's time to go over to Rebels and be with the rebellious ones. I hope that this is blessing you. I hope that this is inspiring you. My whole energy to Waking the Lions is to inspire, motivate, and educate. To inspire, to motivate, and educate. So at the end of the day, I hope that one of those three has happened for you in this stream today. I hope that you've been inspired. I hope that you've been motivated. I hope that you've been educated. And at the end of the day, please rest assuredly, it won't be this way always. Oh, you are welcome, Joanna G. Stirs the soul, nothing but mad love. Come on in here. BTD Mom, mad love right back to you. Miss Frosty, I love me some you. Overflow of blessings. Listen. This has been another edition of Yes You O Cubed. Listen, what does the O Cube stand up for? One-on-one, just me and you. I am the spiritual thought leader, Regina L. Stillman, and thank you for joining me. You know what we believe in here. We're not talking about change. We will be the change. This pride, P-R-I-D-E, this Pride Alliance is relentless, and you're going to hear us roar. It's us, you, me, we all, because we all in this thing together. Listen, at the end of the day, so many of you have come through. One reason, the Bishop of Twitch, thank you for the raid. We're building something in here. My motto moderators, the Rebelling, Shelly Thunder, Michelle Brownell, I appreciate you. For the Roaring Biddies and for Mino, appreciate that resub. I had another resub as well, but it's not showing through here, but I appreciate you. You know who you are, and I'm talking to you. Thank you for that resub. We're building something. To everybody that has come through and been a part of today's stream, nothing but mad love to you. I want to give it up for my sister, the singer and the creator. It won't be this way always. Regina Sims is streaming on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, and you can book her by calling and contacting prmusicgroup.com. She will bless your life. To my corporate sponsor, David Ryan Charity, where the theme is love on purpose. Thank you for your support. Coming on through, and I appreciate this raid train that's moving. Come on and ride with us, because we're going somewhere. I want you to go with us. Come go with us. We will do you good. At the end of the day, as my moderators say, have an amazing day on purpose. Do what you love what you do, and peace for your journey.